Welcome, everybody, to the Fall Line with KS and Company. I'm Dave Capron. I'm here with my co-host, Angelo Ross, who's down in PA. We're also here with Leslie Baker-Brown. We are super excited to have her back. Leslie is with Blizzard Tecnica and the Women to Women program, and Leslie is very in tune with our podcast as they're one of our sponsors, our major sponsor, which is awesome to have Blizzard Tecnica support Angelo and I on the Hill and everything else we do here with the podcast. And also, it's that time of year. It's time to get over and get your boots done. Go see Nick Blaylock and his team over at Nick's Boot Fitting over by Mount Snow. Does a great job getting you in the boot you need and getting everything comfortable to be on a hill and perform the way you need to. And Leslie, it's super cool to have you. It's been awesome. I know things are going pretty well from what I understand with everything so far with the season.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me again. It's good to catch up with you guys.
Happy to.
Yeah, we have you here because we're super excited to be part of the 10-year anniversary to help Blizzard Tecnica launch the Women to Women Global 10-year anniversary of the program. And before we jump into the cool stuff with the Women to Women stuff that's happened over the last 10 years, what's happening this year, I just wanted you to give a little blip of so people know your role with Blizzard Tecnica and the Women to Women program.
Yeah, so I have been with Blizzard and Tecnica for a really long time. Like, I don't know, I think I'm coming up on my 36th year or something. Ridiculous. But I started out in marketing, for years and years. And then in 2015, we launched the Women to Women program. And I was working on that in the US as well as my marketing responsibilities. There was a global leader that was based in Italy. And in 2019, she left the company and they thankfully gave me the job to run the program globally. So I've been running it globally since 2019.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you've been with the company a long, long time. Definitely a name that everyone knows with Blizzard Tecnica. And also your history of and your bio of skiing way back when. Can you talk a little bit about your collegiate years and some of the accomplishments? I think it's good for folks to know that because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. My dad was a passionate skier and got us skiing I was probably 3 years old when I, got out on the hill. We got involved in race programs in New Hampshire. I went on to compete for Middlebury College. I was NCAA Giant Slalom Champion my sophomore year. And then I was 3-time All-American for Middlebury. So, yeah. And I didn't want to stop racing after college. So there was a women's pro circuit back then. I competed on that for like 5 years, just kept, milking it and traveling and having fun. And then I got a real job at Tecnica. So.
That is super, super cool. And Sunapee was a big part of that, wasn't it? You skied at Sunapee a lot.
Yeah. I grew up. That was the race program I was in through my high school years. And I took a year off before going to Middlebury and trained out of Waterville Valley with George Capal, who was a well-known ski coach. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Angela, I think she knows how to turn a ski.
Sounds like it. So, Leslie, this has been this has been your life. It's not part of your life. It is your life. And I'm wondering if you'd talk for a minute about like you're driving, you're getting some windshield time, and it just hits you that this Women to Women program is hitting 10 years. What's that like for you?
Yeah, I am so grateful to our company for supporting this. A lot of women's programs sort of come and go, but 10 years to invest in me and people and resources and the money that it takes to run this, the focus group meetings we hold. And they are, 110% behind it, the company is. And I couldn't do this without the global support, the country support. So I'm grateful that has been able to be sustained and that they believe in it. And yeah, it's my passion. I love, trying to bring other women up, making sure the equipment works for them. So yeah, it's my passion, and I'm lucky to be in this position.
Excellent. Yeah. It's a pretty cool process because I was reading an article and I believe they quoted you back in like 2019 when you were taking over the Women to Women that, at first, when they were saying how you wanted to do this and market it, you were like, no, I refuse. And you have a really unique way, which is kind of cool with the group to get together and ski on the product. I mean, there's a process to build equipment that you wanted way back from then. And can you describe a little bit how the process goes from when you think of, hey, we want to produce this thing, but we'll go through this process to be finished?
Yeah. So when we first started the program, I was insistent that women were involved in the product development process. I wasn't going to do it if we weren't. I just feel like my weight, I'll stand on a ski and it'll flex differently than you will when you're standing on a ski, just given our weight differences, and our anatomy is different, our strengths, things like that. So I felt it was super important to make sure that women were involved in the product development process. And how that started out is we have focus group meetings. We've developed, and it's changed through the years as people move on and do different things. But I have a group of women in Europe that are ambassadors. I'll bring in different people for each meeting, depending on what product we're developing. So if we're going to do a frontside Phoenix ski, it's going to be a different group than if we're doing a powder Shiva ski, revamping. So the groups are tailored to that. We meet once a year in Europe and once a year in North America. Our product managers are there with us, listening. We get on the hill, we get on prototypes, we get on final versions, and we are giving our feedback to them. I mean, we're not telling them, okay, this needs 3 sheets of ketone instead of 2, and it needs this rubber layer, but we're telling them what we feel, what we like, what we don't like. Oh my God, this ski was awesome. Oh my God, I couldn't buy a turn on this one, and they know what they've done to the different prototypes. To understand, like, oh yeah, I get it why she doesn't like that one because we did this and that doesn't work, and then they throw it out and go back to the drawing board. And every year is a little different. What these focus groups involve, the year of bringing in the new Black Pearl was a huge prototype process year, and it wasn't just the focus group meetings; it was sending skis around to different people in the world to get their feedback. So yeah, it's fun. And we do a lot with, we'll have these meetings. We'll talk about marketing and messaging and what do we need to do to help women in other areas as well. And then the graphics and colors were a huge part of approving and vetting and giving them our ideas on what we like and don't like. And I think our designers love it because they're getting feedback. They're like, women like this. We're going with it. No argument, guys, dudes. The women like it. Doesn't matter if you do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Can you talk a little bit about facets of running a global program, like what you have to account for when you move from continent to continent, country to country? What just your experience? What's that like? Changing geography.
I mean, luckily for me, I've had the experience of working with our global team at headquarters on marketing for my whole career here. I've gone to Europe at least a couple times a year, every year, on different things. So I know a lot of the players in Europe. I know the country managers, and they change, but every year I get to meet them at the different meetings if someone comes in new. And the way I've set it up is that in each of the key countries, like in France, there's a woman that's in their marketing department, Eleanor. And so she runs the Women to Women program for France. In Germany, we had a female. She sadly just left, but I need to work with them on how we're going to run that in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm still working with their marketing managers very closely on projects. In Italy, for example, the marketing guy is a dude. He's a guy. So he has hired one of his female ambassadors to run the Women to Women programming in Italy. So I have these key people in each of these countries. I have a woman in Slovenia. I have a team in Norway and Sweden. We're trying to really grow it to some of these other than the 5 key countries over there. And I will work with those team leaders, and, help them with ideas and events and things that they can spur within their countries. But really, they sort of run it within their country. Sarah Lauritsen runs it here in the U.S. And we have a woman, Sarah Perron, in marketing who runs the women's program in Canada. So, work with them. I do a lot of the I run the focus group meeting. So I'm in charge of, collecting feedback from all our global ambassador team. We probably have 70 women throughout the globe that are, athletes or ambassadors that I can solicit feedback from. So I'm in charge of, making sure those focus groups, the product managers get the feedback they need from the team. I also work on our content, how we're going to message, what we're going to create. So I work with our content creators and providers and our social media managers and putting together all the content that we're going to push out. So the stuff that's more global is a lot of the stuff that I'll work on, but local, more regional activation. It's these different women in the countries that, I'll help. I'll provide resources. I'll provide, we'll do banners with the Women to Women logo on them, those kinds of things. But they're really in charge on the ground level in their countries of working with their retailers for partnering with events. And, I can't do that. I don't speak German. I don't speak Italian. So it's nice to have these women in the countries now activating with their marketing departments.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was reading one of the articles, it was the women's products are like 40% of the business, right?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. And it's sort of what's in the market too. I mean, it's you look at how many female skiers, I think it's like 38 to 40% of the skiers are women.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty important piece. And that's where it comes to, which I know you mentioned in the past when that big launch went last midwinter with the new Black Pearl. And it was for, I don't know how many years or a long time. It was the number one ski in North America, not just lady ski. It was the number one ski. Pretty iconic for Blizzard to have that. And let's build a whole new ski. We're going to take that ski and build it. And you were like, oh my God. And it's, from what I've heard, it's come across awesome. And it's a better ski, like amazing. And it has like, it's just totally new. What's in it, everything. It has the name, but it is the new, improved, completely new. And I was just wondering if you could talk about that and the reception it had last year across the world.
Yeah, it was a nerve-wracking process, for sure. As you mentioned, I lost a lot of sleep and I badgered Christian Avery a lot for when's the next prototype coming and where can I get him to and who can I send him to and how can we test this? And but it worked. We got what I think was you think you get this great product out there but you're like, it could do this a little bit better. It could do this. And so our engineers and our product managers are incredible. And, when we give them the feedback that, you get to ski on a ski for a while and you're like, okay, it does 90% of the thing is great, but can we make it, even better? And they did. I mean, remarkably, I was like, how are we going to make this better? And they did. So, it's just got a little bit smoother flex progression, a little bit easier in and out of the turn. It's just, and to get into some technical things, I hope our whole True Blend wood core technology really does a lot for all our collections, men's and women's, unisex. Just because we can design them, or we have to design them by size. I mean, I know we've talked about it. It's these different lengths of stringers put in different materials. And you can't it's not one long stringer that you can just cut to size. You have to build each size specifically for that level of skier. So we can build the shorter sizes for lighter weight. Women, we can build the 176 for, stronger hardcore skiers, and really tailor not just the model and waist width, but the length. So that's, I think, contributed to a lot of the success of all our collections.
Yeah. Anything special you can tell us about for the Black Pearl regarding the 10th year anniversary?
Yeah, this is exciting. So a couple years ago, after Hillary Nelson passed away, we did a special makeup Shiva ski. We enlisted a woman, an artist who also, she's a pro rep of ours. She lives in Taos, New Mexico, Malia Reeves. She's a ski patroller, but also an artist. And I get teary, sorry. She designed a ski that we sold and raised money for a Hillary Nelson fund that we gave proceeds to a number of nonprofits that work to help women in the ski industry. We have, again, to celebrate the 10th year, we enlisted Malia, and she created another really beautiful graphic to go on the Black Pearl 88. Unlike the Shiva ski, we did not sell through retailers. We just sold it direct. Only did about 170 pairs. The Black Pearl 88, we are partnering with a number of retailers throughout the country to sell this ski. And they will contribute, and we will contribute $125 per pair is going to go back into our Hillary Nelson Professional Development Program Fund, which we can talk about in a minute. So It's a beautiful ski. It's really cool. And also, when we did the original Shiva, it was just a U.S. initiative. With this Black Pearl, Canada is going to sell it and make a contribution to because we do the professional development program NORAM, a North American program. France is going to sell it, and they're going to make a donation of €100 per pair to an organization called Lead the Climb, which helps women travel safely in the mountains. Switzerland is donating to this organization that's called Chicks on Board. So each of the countries is selling these skis and also making a donation to organizations that, provide leadership and education for women in the mountains. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty big global. It's like all the pieces are coming together.
Wow.
It was one thing when we were doing it just in the US, that was pretty easy, but to get a hang tag translated in French and German and it's been a little bit bigger of a project, but super exciting.
Yeah. It's pretty cool listening to the excitement. And I know that you have 4 pillars of the program that really keep this thing going that everyone thinks about. Can you let us know a little about the 4 pillars?
Yeah. So when we first started out in 2015, we had a lot of brainstorming sessions and these focus group meetings. And the 4 pillars we came up with around that really determine what we do and how we act. Our product, which I've told you before is our first and foremost. Education, which to me is super important because education gives women more knowledge and confidence. Confidence to go into a ski shop and purchase the ski that they know they want, not what the shop employee is going to tell them. And then also with our development program of helping women with funds to further their education, whether getting their next level PSIA certification or, it's a super important component so we can get more women into leadership roles. Inspiration, we have a lot of top female athletes and they are amazing, beautiful skiers doing amazing things. And, I'm not going to go jump a 30-foot cliff like Kate Zelliff might, but I can look at her doing that and think, hey, look what women can do. I'm not going to do that, but maybe I can tackle this double black diamond trail, and hopefully it inspires women to push themselves a little bit more. And then community, just bringing women together, creating safe spaces for women to ask questions that they might not be comfortable to ask in a co-ed type group. I mean, I love skiing with my guy friends. I have a blast, but when you get together with a group of women, it's something pretty special. So
yeah. And the equipment is the key thing. It's and you talk about it's talking about how women enjoy the skis. What do they feel? What do they want to feel in the pair of skis and in the boots? And the Black Pearl has been a big part of that. And when the company went on after making a whole new anomaly line in the unisex ski and the Black Pearl, those were like 2 separate projects. I know we talked about it last winter, but they were definitely, they didn't look at using the same raw materials to kind of cut corners. It was, what are we putting in the Black Pearl to make that ski feel the way the women want that to ski to feel? And can you just talk a little bit? I mean, it's awesome, the commitment to going, this ski is for this group and we're making it for them. We're not cutting corners on raw materials or just going to pull technology just because it's easier from another ski. This is about this ski alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And that all came through like the testing process, like we like this, we don't like that kind of thing, giving them the feedback and they making the adjustments. As you said, like no 2 pieces are exactly the same in the anomaly versus the Black Pearl. Sure, they both still have the flux form layup where we have 3 pieces or a full sheet of tetanol in 3 different pieces, but that tetanol is different thicknesses. The anomaly has 2 full sheets of tetanol. Black Pearl has the 1 that's in the 3 different pieces. And different layers, whether it's the pre-pregs versus the tetanol, things like that. They're different. The mold is the same, so the side cut and the shape, but what goes in the guts, was completely designed to perform for women.
Super cool.
Leslie, can you talk a little bit about how the Hillary Nelson Professional Development Program has impacted some recipients? How's it changed their experience?
Yeah, so I think the number one thing that I hear from them, when I've been able to tell them, hey, you're the recipient, and the one thing I hear a lot from them is, oh my gosh, it just gave me so much more confidence and belief in myself that, hey, I belong here. I can do this. People believe in me. And they're deserving of this. They deserve to be up on the hill on the ski patrol or wherever, they deserve to be a guide. So I think it's number one for all of them. It's given them sort of that background of confidence and belief that they belong. I was looking back through, we have on our website, a list of the recipients. I asked them, because last year was our 5th year of the program, like, hey, how have we helped you? And, one woman was talking about how the scholarship we gave her, she passed her level 3 PSIA. And since then, she's an actual ski race coach. She's been able to step into more leadership roles within her racing program. She's taken over programs. She's coaching other coaches on how to coach. So it just, again, it's given her that knowledge, that next level, bringing her into leadership type roles. And another one who completed like her Pro 1 AVI certification is now working towards her AMGA guiding. She started some women's programs, backcountry nights for women within her guide company, and started up some avalanche training programs just for women in her community. So it's just given them that push and that belief and that education that they can move that next level and really step into leadership.
Yeah. It's an amazing program. The Hillary Nelson Professional Development Program that you have as part of the Women to Women, and it hits so many areas. As you were speaking to the young lady that was in the got her certification level 3, but then someone else that's in guiding. I mean, it covers all of them. Might be a patroller. There isn't an area. When I look at what is on the website and you've told me in the past, the things that you try to cover, there's not like an area in the ski world and that you don't cover in terms of for education for women to get where they need to be. And it really impacts not just them, but you're talking about in leadership roles. It impacts so many around them. Can you talk a little bit about how you are helping these women, but these women are helping more than just the other women? It's men, it's everybody where they're in those leadership roles. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. On the application, one of the questions is, how are you going to use this education to give back, to pay it forward, to get, bring other women up into the industry as well. So that's one of the key things when we're choosing who the recipients are, is that we know that they're going to build these other programs for women and really try to help bring along other women with them. So yeah, it's a key part for me that they're paying it forward. They're spreading what they've learned to other people. It's just part of it.
Gotta love the pay it forward.
Mm-hmm. Leslie, when you look back on all this, and you're in the mix right now, it's not like it's over, but when you think about all this and reflect on everything that's happened and you've seen, what are a couple of highlights that jump out at you?
Oh, boy. Again, reaching 10 years is incredible. When we started the professional development program, we sort of thought, we'll see how it goes, 2 years maybe. And now we're going to be in our 6th year of doing it. We've realized the impact that's had on other women, the ski industry, our community. So those are sort of, 2 big things for me. And just the people I've gotten to meet. There's so many amazing women out there. I'm like, like I said, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I just didn't have that posse of women around me that they now have. And I'm just like, this is so great. More women in these leadership, starting their own businesses. And yeah, it's been great to see the progression of women in our industry.
It always seems to come back to the people.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what keeps you here and going.
Yeah.
So you have to be pretty proud that you really are like a pioneer in a lot of ways of from when you started 36 years ago, you said, with Blizzard Tecnica to now. I mean, you've had a big impact on this yourself.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm trying,
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I mean, I know you're humble about it, but I know a lot of women out there look up to what you've accomplished and what you create still in the industry, which is pretty huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It inspire me too. Like I look at these women and go, I don't think I'd have the guts to start my own business or to do that. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and we've got to let folks know we're going to be, they'll actually be starting to watch this podcast right around mid-October. So what is the timeline to apply and look at the Hillary Nelson Professional Development Program, and what's the process like applying?
Yeah. So we'll open the application around November 17th. It'll be on our website. We'll promote it through our social channels. And, they have to fill out some basic information, where they're working, what program, the course they're applying to, how much money they need for it. But then like I said, there's 3 questions they have to answer. One we like to know, sort of what obstacles they faced into getting where they want to be and where they're going, just to sort of understand their journey a little bit more. One is how they're going to pay it forward. How are you going to bring other women up with you? And then just an open-ended question of like, what else do you think we should know about you and what you're doing and what you want to do? So that's the sort of, it's not that hard. And, sometimes I'll get applications. I mean, last year I got 400 applications to read through in North America. So yeah, I mean, over the years, we've had over 2,000 applications for this. Awarded, I think 103 scholarships and over $120,000 in scholarship funding and products. So it's needed. It's out. People are looking for help to be able to do this because you don't make a whole lot of money in the ski industry, but it costs a whole lot of money to get all this education to move up. So I'm glad we can help. And it'll close around December 15th, the application. And then, I say mid-January is when I'll make the announcements. It really depends on how many applications I get and going through them. And I have a team, I'll go through the initial and just, narrow it down as best I can. And then I have a team that helps me narrow it down even further. But it's going to be cool this year because, the sales of the ski are going to go help fund some more. So we'll have more money to play with this year. So I'm really excited about that.
That's super cool. And there's a sweepstakes. There's a sweepstakes going too. And there'll be you've partnered up with the Canadian Mountain Holidays to give away a women's camp that they're putting on. And then there's some other prizes in there. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the sweepstakes? Yeah.
So we're partnering with CMH. They really want to try to get more women into their women's heli programs. I think, helicopter skiing can sound so intimidating, but it's amazing, and CMH has great terrain for all levels. And so we're having a sweepstakes with them. They're going to give away 2 spots. The winner plus can bring a friend. We're going to be giving away one of our special edition Black Pearl skis. I think there's going to be some icon passes and maybe an Arc'teryx kit. So, we're pretty excited to be partnering with them on that. And I believe that sweepstakes will open up sometime in October as well. Lots happening in October.
Yeah.
Lots in October.
Yeah.
What might we see in the future?
Oh, what a good question. I don't see our core values changing that much. Maybe the way we do things, maybe the way we roll things out or implement or hold events, that may change. Honestly, I just sent a survey to our 75 ambassadors across the world asking these questions like, how are we doing? What do you think? What would you like to see differently? And I'm just getting those surveys back in. I have a focus group meeting coming up early October in Europe, another one in the US in November. And we'll be talking about these things like, how can we keep progressing, reaching more women? What should our messaging change? Should our pillars change? Should we do things differently? Are all questions that, I'll have more clarity come December when we've gotten the surveys back. We've had our focus group meetings and we can really start to sort of push and plan for the next 10 years.
That's cool.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And it's been exciting for Angela and I love the Women to Win program because it's when I see some of the women get on these skis, the Black Pearl, they get into the Tecnica boots that are built for them, and they're so happy. I mean, it helps the education. It helps us achieve their goals. I mean, when the equipment's holding them back because it's not built and getting done what they want or getting the sensations out of skiing, for me, it's a super piece to create the passion to help us as educators help people reach their goals in snow. It's super cool.
Yeah. I mean, and it's important to, I do some tech talks for like the Women's Summit for PSIA, go to the PSIA Women's Summit. And, so like you talk about ski boot fit, and this happens across the board. It's not just women that buy ski boots that are too big. Everybody knows, this is squeezing my feet, but just that importance. And for, you guys as instructors to see that, like, oh my gosh, she took her boot off and she's like a size 5 shoe, but I think she's in a size 8 ski boot, or like, wait a minute, what, this is a disc, you get your boot, your foot's moving around in there. You have no sensitivity. You can't, do anything with the ski. So it's, that all that education and making sure that women are in the right boot on the right ski, is super important.
Yeah. And we got a couple alumni from our PSA Aussie national team Alpine that are still working with Blizzard Tecnica, right? Heidi Ellinger came on, and you have Brenna Kelleher, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've had Brenna for quite some time. And her sister Keely, who has been one of our athletes for, oh my gosh, she came to the first focus group meeting, so longer than 10 years. And Brenna's doing cool things with her, some global events and bringing women from together around the globe. And Heidi Etlinger's just jumped on board, and she is so knowledgeable about women's equipment. And she's been awesome.
Yes. Yeah, super cool to have them all involved. And there are definitely some good ski teachers out there in the hill, aren't they, Angelo?
They're terrific. Yep.
Any closing words, Angelo?
It's been great, Leslie. Appreciate your time. It's always good to see you. Hope to run into you sometime this winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burns.
Yeah. Leslie, is there anything we missed or anything that you want to put out there about the 10-year anniversary that we missed or you want to reemphasize?
I think we got it. I just want to thank you guys for supporting this program so much.
It's awesome. It helps so many people that we work with on the hill to see their faces and to see the smiles when they get on gear. And Angela, as we talked off air, Angela and I are really thinking about putting some telly on that Black Pearl. It's with that even flexing, and when I go from my Alpine to telly, just to have some of that little softer ski and even flexing on my telly gear is pretty cool. I think that could be our 88, Angelo.
Wouldn't bother me a bit.
I know. We love that. We'll be the focus group for the part of the focus group for the new Black Pearl. Cool. But thanks a lot, Leslie, for all you do. I know there's a ton of people out there that are benefiting and they love it. And it's really super cool to see the company take such an effort to make people enjoy being on the hill. What's the saying you have? Don't just pink it and shrink it.
Yeah.
That no longer happens.
4 women from the ground up.
Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah. Right. Awesome. Hey, everybody, get out there, try some of the gear, get in there and look at the Hillary Nelson Development Program. It's a really cool program. If you have some goals you want to reach, they can help you there. Apply for that and look for that ski coming out sometime end of October. We'll have that really cool Black Pearl with the cool graphic on it that'll be out there in a lot of the retailers. And thanks, everybody. This has been The Fall Line with Chaos and Company.
Thank you.